Hi peeps and welcome back to the channel. So on today's video, this is just going to be me doing a little bit of rambling about what has been happening over the last, let's say 6 months. I have been sort of not putting up the videos because I have been putting up, a few lessons and things like that I've been doing. But I've sort of been putting off the videos because, we always got to think, I'm just going to move this up a little bit, about, is it bright enough? Is it, these are the kind of things that go on in my head. Is it bright enough? Is, what am I going to be talking about? What is the new thing? What is the new insightful thing? But today's video was actually just getting back into the saddle, just this tiny little bit. And just, just seeing what happens. So I wanted to mention to you a little bit about what it's been like. This is my first NQT year, so I've already done my probation year and I'm now in my NQT year. And it's been fascinating. The other thing that I always, sort of panic about is, what did I say last time? Where am I going to start? Like, what do they know? What do they not know? And you know what? I'm just going to be telling a story. So, and the lovely Jess reached out to me today. There's quite a number of you that have reached out to me and just said, keep doing more videos. So hopefully this will give you something good to listen to watch. So yeah, just to sort of give you an idea as to what has been going on, maybe what I found useful, what I found not so useful. I started off my my year, and I literally found out at the very last minute that I had a job. I did not know that I had a job at all after my probation year. So in Scotland, for those of you that are not in Scotland, you are automatically given a year's employment after your degree, the end of your degree. And so that was an amazing experience, extremely supportive environment that I was in. Some real tricky customers in terms of some kids, some parents, so that I'm sure lots of people will find familiar. But then I had my interview. It was early February, and I was successful in it. So I thought, yeah, I'll get a job then, because when you're successful in an interview, you think, oh, I'll get a job. It just seemed crazy because, of course, COVID happened, and then it got to the summer holidays. I still didn't know, and then on, I think it was the 10th of August, I found out on the Friday before I was due to start on the Monday. So that was really last minute. So that has helped me prepare to be, very flexible and just, really to sort of roll with the punches. It's tricky, it's difficult because there's some people that had, they knew, some very good friends had got a job and they knew at the start, but again, they didn't know where. So I felt like there was an element of us all being in the same boat. But so when this year came around, I had a job 1 day a week in one place, and then 4 days a week in the next place. And the job that I had 1 day a week, it was part of recovery support and also doing non-class contact time, so covering non-class contact time. So what I did there is I taught primary 5-6s, and I think I did that for maybe the first week, maybe the second week as well, and I went into P1, so it gave me a really good level playing field. I'd done P4 before, and so P1 I hadn't done, and I've got to be honest, I was a bit scared because I was like, I don't know what to do. I can go down to like P2, like maximum, but then anything below that I don't feel like I can do, and then up to P6 that's fine, but I don't know how to do P7. So there was all those kind of things going on in my head, and I don't know what it was. It was just an emotional block that I had. So having a little bit of experience in recovery, going into a P1 class and just really seeing what we did, what was expected by, you know, a P1 veteran was amazing. And then taking non-class contact time for a P5-6, I felt relatively comfortable. And then what happened was there was staff absences, people were off sick, so I literally would come in on a Monday and just go, okay, where am I going? And I would pick up classes, literally. You know, luckily enough, a lot of the time it was actually P4, so I was very well rehearsed in that. But sometimes it wasn't, and I've covered P7, P6, 7, all these kind of things. And you know what? What it taught me is just to really think on your feet, have a bank of lessons that you are ready to run with. And generally, those lessons would be, you know, I would have something to do with maths. When it comes to maths, you can very quickly adapt it. Once you've been through your probation year, you can adapt maths because you know, if you know what the topic is that they're doing, then you can quickly adapt to that. When it comes to literacy, that's trickier because you don't know what the teacher wants from you. So in general terms, I'll go through, maybe I'll look at a piece of grammar, looking at adjectives, conjunctions, verbs, nouns, all these kind of things is never going to go wrong. Especially, really from 4 upwards, you're going to be able to do that. When it's down below, you're really just looking at the writing, really looking at how are they spelling, how are they functioning, how are they able to construct sentences, what does it look like, capital letters and full stops, these basics. And then I will always have something that is Spanish or French, or not that I've had the need to do it, but German as well. So any languages. As you'll know if you've watched my previous videos. I'm Julie, by the way. Something I never mention in my videos. I'm Julie, and I'm a Scottish housewife. Okay. So if you've watched my previous videos, then you'll know that I enjoy languages and enjoy teaching them. Maybe for you, your specialisation is art, music. I also have health and well-being. That's always a good one to cover because it's tricky to cover everything within your week as a teacher. So yeah, that really it just set me off on a path of really sort of juggling a lot of different things a lot of the time. And there was parts in which I'm not going to lie, I sort of, my nerves sort of got on edge because I was just like, what am I walking into? Because the thing is that when you are walking into a class, you're walking into a new class, you're building up relationships. Something that I have to do really quickly is to build up those relationships really, really quickly. One of the ways that I do that is that I can be quite strict, but I just really let everybody know what my expectations are. I'm saying quite strict, but really what I expect is when I'm asking you to line up, that you're quiet. When I'm asking you to, when I'm going to be talking, that you're quiet and that you're ready to listen. And that really is my expectations. And I love walking through a school with a class full of 31 children, and they're all being really respectful to every other class. So that's basically my expectations. Everything else, I like to have fun. I like to sort of adapt with children's learning, what's best for them, and really figure out how they learn, what they're really interested in, and really sort of blossom and develop lesson and plans from that, from their interest, so that they really get, you know, a sort of hook on it. So that is where I start. I start off making sure that that's what they know, and I go through it and go through it and go through it until they know. And usually it's maybe 3 or 4 times. It's literally 3 or 4 times that I'll say to people, okay, what I'm looking for you to do is, you know, and I'll sit on a chair, I'll stand up, I'll push the chair in, I'll walk over to the door, and I'll be quiet. And then the first time, what happens, you know, I'll say to them, you know, I don't want anybody to talk. The first time, everybody talks. Everyone talks because they think that's okay. And then I get them to sit down. No, sit down. Sit back down again. And then we'll do it again. And then a couple of people talk. And then I go, no, sit back down again. And then maybe one person will talk. And I go, Even at that. And that's the hard bit. That's the not accepting it. Okay? The not accepting it means that those children know exactly where your levels are. Because if you accept that, at that point, it can only go down. So that's the really, you know, I really sort of have to push myself. I'm like, no. Oh dear. Everybody sit down again. You know, think about why we're sitting down. And then, you know, getting them to stand back up again. And it might take 10, 15 minutes. I factor in that time. You know, it might take it in 10, 15 minutes. And then they know. Then they know. So the next time they go up, and maybe you might have to do it once again. You're just doing it once and you go, oh, no. We're not ready. Go and sit down. So pulling them back up again, and they get it. You can see they're just like that. And that's worked in every class. Every class that I've taken. And I've not taken really easy classes or angels or anything like that. I've taken some tricky customers, and every single time. And it is that push, because sometimes when you have children that are quite tricky and can be challenging, and, you know, what do you mean? I've had, you know, why do you hate us so much? I've had, you know, off like this, you know, and it's really, really hard to push past that. But actually, once you break that, they know exactly where they stand. These children, it's never the case where children are going to be displaying behaviours for nothing. So there's always going to be something behind it. And whenever I teach, I'm teaching to the children on the basis that they know my boundaries. They know those boundaries are there to keep them safe, and that they are safe, because that's paramount to my teaching. Knowing those children, knowing that with me, I'll stay the same. I'll not change. I won't flip off the handle. I won't, I won't suddenly give in. There's nothing, I won't be nice one day and horrible the next day. It's just the same. Okay. And then, I'm sure I've mentioned this before, as soon as I they absolutely understand my expectations, they actually have free rein, but they don't know it. They don't know it because they don't ever push it. Sometimes I need to remind them, and that's fine. Usually after a break, just as we're going into the Easter break, and that's I'll need to remind them afterwards, and that's fine. But in general terms, they're just knowing that the children know that they're safe and the boundaries will remain the same is really important to me, because I think that builds insecurity for them when they might not always have that. So that's probably one of my key takeaways, that if you're going into a class and making sure that whether you have them for an hour, whether you have them for a day, whether you have them for, the entire year, is that you're going in, you're strong on what your expectations are. And they'll be different for everyone, Everyone has their own little, focus. And that'll be different. But I can't recommend it enough just to make sure that the children know what your expectations are. And then as soon as that happens, you can really start to play about and have fun with it, because they can always bring back. I remember when I was in high school, I had a maths teacher, and I always found him, dead funny, and nobody really mucked about in class. Because you just, as a child, you just get this sense of how far you can push a teacher. I'm sure you recognise that. And if you thought that you could get away with it, I remember one teacher that actually, somebody who was so good, I was such a good pupil, like so good in class, I wouldn't dare put a foot wrong, and actually I was pushing it with a teacher. And it's because you generally got the concept that they didn't have control, they didn't know. But with this other teacher, he wasn't a strict teacher, he wasn't an authoritarian. He was a person that you could hear in his tonality of his voice, actually, when he meant business. Okay, you could have a laugh, but then bringing it back. And that is what I try to bring to my class. I try to bring as much fun as I possibly can. But when I'm looking to talk, when they hear the little Chinese symbols, or, I tend to have a wee click because it's quite quiet and it just ripples through. Or I just put up my hands, By the time we get there, apart from looking like we're on some crazy march, they are quiet in general terms. And these things, I always think that the mouse is mightier than the lion in terms of your voice. So if you can keep things quiet, it improves the relationship, because otherwise you're just adding to the noise. Anyway, I'm going to leave that with you today. That's my little takeaway for today. So in terms of building up relationships and ensuring that the children know their expectations, if you got that right, you're on to a winner. It'll be really, really good. Anyway, guys, hope you have an amazing Easter holidays. Don't work too hard. And remember, you've totally got this. Okay? Don't forget to be the best you can be.